Hey everyone, if you watched the unboxing video on the E-Flite Habu STS 70mm EDF, you know that we're going to be using this for a new YouTube series known as the RC Flight School, in which we're going to take a student, Logan here. We're going to be taking him through basically learning how to fly this aircraft using Real Flight 9 and then of course working with our Horizon instructor. So today we're actually going to put this aircraft together so that we can get ready to talk about all the different pieces and parts of this during the RC Flight School, and then eventually get them to the field to fly it. So with that said, we got a couple tools here. We're gonna put it together. I think you just need a screwdriver. It's gonna be it. There's no glue or anything else involved. So the assembly process should be pretty straightforward. So we're gonna go ahead and get the aircraft out of the box and get started on it. All right, so we got the outer box off the aircraft here. So we're going to go ahead and just take all these pieces and parts out. We've already done the unboxing video, so I'm not going to spend too much time taking all the pieces out and talking about them. We're just going to go ahead and get these pieces out on the workbench here, where we can go ahead and start putting this aircraft together. There's really only a few main parts, so like I said, it should go fairly quickly, and we'll talk about the pieces as we move along. All right, so we're back. We have the Habu out of the box here and kind of set up on our workbench here. We got a nice PVC stand here to help build the aircraft. Now, they actually recommend putting the wings on first. However, kind of with a tighter work area that we're going to be working in here, we're actually going to kind of reverse that order and put the aircraft together with the wings going on last. So we're going to do it just a little different than the instructions, but there really shouldn't be any issue with kind of changing that order up. So to start with, let's go ahead and flip the aircraft upside down. And from this position here, we will be able to install the nose landing gear. We'll be able to install the wing, and then we'll flip it back over for everything else. But this is the orientation you probably want to start the aircraft with. The nose wheel, servo, steering linkages all comes pre-assembled right from the factory, and so this will just go on the front here and plug in. Now, it will be important to make sure that you align the nose wheel before you go ahead and fly it, because obviously, just like an alignment in a car, if you start going down the runway and the wheels off center, you're going to be fighting the airplane as it's going to want to go one way or the other. So to make that adjustment, there's a plastic clevis here that hooks to the steering arm, and it's threaded. So what we have to do is we just turn that clevis back and forth, and that will make the adjustment. So the easiest thing to do is, after you power the aircraft up, is just make sure that wheel is straight before we take it to the field. A lot of times I'll drive it up and down the driveway a little bit and just kind of make sure that it tracks straight and making the adjustments. But unlike a lot of planes where that adjustment is done further back in the fuselage next to the, usually it's got a servo that powers the elevator and the nose wheel together. Here's a separate servo and it's a separate control horn. So you're going to want to make that alignment up front here at the nose. All right, and to install the nose gear, you're going to want to use the smallest screws that are available, and then we just go ahead and we want to make sure that we plug the servo wire in first, and then we'll go ahead and mount this and get it situated. All right. All right, I think it's easier to install it in this orientation. The lead is not very long to plug this in, and of course it's a little bit more difficult with it being trying to film this on camera. But you just go ahead. So I came in from the bottom of the aircraft, and I put the other hand through the battery hatch where the canopy is, and just kind of held that together. And now I can go ahead and assemble this. And it's situated so that the there we go. And it's situated so that the NACA duct here, which is this little recessed scoop area here, is pointed to the nose, and the wheel is actually a little bit further back. And so to install this, we have our little pack of screws here. We're going to use a Phillips screwdriver. All right, so we have the nose gear attached. It goes in with a series of Phillips head screws. And just make sure that we're all tight. You want to make sure that you also pick a screwdriver that doesn't strip out the head. There's actually a lot of variation in the type of screwdrivers and Phillips heads. And so we just use a little bit bigger screwdriver than I normally would for such a small screw because it actually fit the head very well and didn't strip out. It's kind of a material that you don't want to wreck by putting too much force into it or using the wrong kind of screwdriver. So all right, so you can kind of see that we have the nose gear installed. It is plugged in already. And what's nice about the Habu is that this thing for an EDF jet comes with really oversized, great big tires on this. I mean, these are a lot bigger than what you would normally see on an airplane. The reason is that these will work very well on a grass runway. And Logan here is going to be learning on a grass strip at the Grand Haven RC Flying Club. And that is not like a putting green smooth surface. It's not a paved surface. It's not a fabric runway. It's a grass runway. And usually EDF jets kind of struggle a little bit in that because they have real small, little teeny tiny tires. Because they're trying to look more scale. Here they went oversized with the landing gear, so this should be a very suitable airplane for grass. In fact, I've seen videos where they're taking off in grass that's quite a bit thicker than I ever thought possible. So Logan will not have any trouble on this when we finally get it out to the airfield. So we'll take a minute here just to kind of, before we kind of close everything up here, just to kind of talk about a few things. So you got a couple things that are visible inside here, one of which is, if you can see down here, Logan, you have these fins here. Yeah. That's actually the electronic speed controller. I'll just kind of hold it up there, and that's located right in here. And the electronic speed controller is important because that's what basically kind of distributes the power from the battery to the receiver and to the jet unit here. And this is called an EDF unit. It's an electric ducted fan. So while we call it a jet, it's not really like a jet turbine that you would see like in a fighter plane. It's a kind of a hybrid. It has a little tiny electric motor built inside of it that spins at extremely high RPMs. So it's going to scream and whine like a turbine, but it's not a fuel-driven jet engine. It's not going to shoot fire out the back or anything. But it's a 70mm unit, so it's actually, this is a good size fan unit. And I'll just kind of show you the look inside there. You can see the fan blades. Logan, you can take a look at it too. Yeah. So it looks a lot like what you would see like on a jet airliner. Yeah. If you look at how the fans are developed, and that's going to actually just pull the air right through these ducts here, and it kind of funnels it in between the wing and the fuselage here into this unit, and then it's going to shoot it out the back. So this is going to be obviously a lot more of what we consider an advanced way of flying. A few years ago, we would have never recommended in a million years that Logan here would be flying an EDF plane, like a jet, to start with. These were always like really high level, a lot of pilot skill needed. These are very expensive, and they were not suitable for trainers. In fact, it took me years to fly an EDF plane, and it's still not as powerful or as big as this one. So Logan's going to start off right here with an EDF. This EDF here, of course, is developed by Horizon and E-Flite to be a trainer aircraft. And we're going to prove that, yes, you can take a new student pilot and teach them how to fly with an EDF plane. This was completely unheard of a few years ago, but thanks to the advancements in technology, with the flight controller, the optimized fuselage, wing structure, and everything else they've done to it, this should be a very rewarding plane and easy to fly for Logan. It does have SAFE, it does have AS3X. We're going to talk about a lot more of those in the RC Flying School, but it's got everything set up already right out of the factory to give you the best chance of success in flying it. So with that said, let's go ahead and continue to put this thing together so we can kind of see it take shape here, all right? I think since the aircraft is upside down, we're actually going to go ahead and put the wings, we're going to go ahead and get the wings on right now, actually. I think it will be fine. Then we're going to flip the aircraft over and do the vertical and horizontal stabulator. So we are using the manual. We keep it out with us. It's not terribly complex to put this together. There's not that many pieces, but it's still a good idea that you're going to want to reference the manual. You want to make sure you get the right screws in the right spot. All right, so we're now going to come over here and grab the wing. Here we go. Make sure we don't bump anything with it. It comes already with the ailerons, servos are already pre-installed. Everything is here. It is ready to go right from the factory. So we're going to go ahead and install this. It's got a pin connector on the very bottom here and a set of receiver connectors here, and that's for the ailerons. So we'll just go ahead and put these on, shall we? Make sure we get everything aligned. Okay, just like that. There's not really too much to it. Now for this one, you're going to want to use the larger screws. I think these are the, oh, hold on, wrong bag. These are the larger screws that you're going to want to use. You want to use the largest screws that are available. Actually, you're going to use a little of both here. You're going to use the 25mm, which are the longer of the screws that come in the bag, and you use these first. And these go actually over the kind of the thicker part of the wing here. I'm going to go ahead and put these in. And you're going to use the smaller screws here to go on the leading and trailing edge. And these will hold the wing into position. Just go ahead and drop those in. They are also Phillips as well, so you only need one tool to put this entire airplane together. So we'll go ahead and get these run in. All right, so we have our 4 screws put in for the wings here. We'll go ahead and flip the aircraft over and begin to assemble the rest of it here. There we go. You can see it's quickly starting to look like a Habu aircraft here, isn't it? So let me just get the next page turned here. We're going to talk about getting the tail put together here, which will include the horizontal stabulator, the vertical stabulator, and then the plastic tail cone. So let me go ahead and get those things ready to go. All right, so the first one we have to install here is the horizontal stabulator. It includes 2 servos pre-installed, one of which is the servo here that's for the elevator. So what this will do is it will turn and it will push and pull on the mechanism here that will raise and lower the elevator, which will control the pitch of the aircraft. The other servo here, sticking out here, is for the rudder. This will pivot back and forth and push and pull the rudder, which you'll use in turning. So we'll go ahead and get these installed. I'm going to come back here. I'll swap spots for you here. And there are they're actually labeled already. So actually see if I can turn this a little bit. Well, maybe not effectively. So let me just kind of show you here. Watch your head. Don't want to poke you. You see it's got rudder elevator sticker already on the fuselage, so it's just a matter of plugging these things in. So we'll go ahead and do that. You do not want to get these in the wrong position. So elevator is on the bottom, so the one that is labeled ELE for elevator goes on the bottom, and then you do the rudder will go on the top. Okay. Those just plug right in, and then there's 2 little guide pins to go ahead and position the horizontal stabulator into the fuselage. We'll move some of these wires out of the way here. There we go. All right, and we'll take a look at which wires we need here. And if you're wondering as you start to hook up those wires which direction they go, they actually do call out in the manual that the brown is the ground. It's like, or, thinking back the old home improvement days, that the ground is brown because it's like the earth. So think of it as that way. And the orange is the signal wire. So they are labeled positive, negative, and signal. So that way you know which way the servos go in. You'll know right away if you plug everything in and it's not working properly that you may have got those positioned backwards. But we double checked. So read over the manual. It does talk about on how to do that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and install the tail cone. Go ahead and put this on the very back. There we go. We actually tape that into to place. So there's little pieces of tape that we will use. All right, so we have the tail cone installed. And next we're going to grab some of the other screws here. We're going to go ahead and put there's 2 screws that go in the horizontal stabulator to the fuselage, and then the rest are going to actually hold the rudder in position. So go ahead and get these out of the bag. And grab our trusty little screwdriver here. Position these. I'm going to go ahead and move this a little bit more forward, so we can get a little better view on it. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and grab the vertical stabilators. Now to do this, we're actually going to have to hook up the. So you can see this is the control horn, and we don't have anything to hook the control rod, control horn. This is what that's called, to the servos. So if we dig around here on our workbench, there is this little piece right here. And what this does is one half of this hooks into the servo, and the other half hooks into the control horn on the rudder, and then it's threaded, so we actually adjust it back and forth to make sure everything is trimmed out before the airplane flies. So we go ahead and install this first. Okay, so we'll come back here. Yeah, so that sticks out, so it's on the back side of the camera here, unfortunately, but we'll turn it around so everybody can see it when we get to that point. And once again, it uses 3 screws to put that together. There are 2 on the back and 1 on the front, and then we'll turn the aircraft around so that you can actually see how we're going to install the control rod there. Okay, so we have 2 here in the front and 1 in the back. All right, Logan, if you could hand me my screwdriver there and hand me either one of them, we'll there we go. And the reason why you want to install the control rod last is so you can move the rudder out of the way here to install the screw that goes down underneath of it. We want to make sure that the screws are, of course, tight, but not over tight, and we don't want to strip them out. After all, they are just going into to plastic here. So we'll go ahead and run this down. All right, so we got those 3 screws installed here, and you can see now I'll kind of rotate it here. I'm gonna actually turn the aircraft around. But it's starting to look like a legitimate airplane at this point. So we're gonna move this a little bit more. Here we go. Now we can see where this is what I was talking about before. We have the servo horn that sticks out right there, looking at it blindly, and then we have the control horn that sticks out. And so as the servo moves, it will actually move the elevator. See? So we're going to go ahead and install this. Now it's important to make sure that you have the there's a bunch of holes in the servo and on the control horn. And the reason why there's a bunch of holes there is because you could change how much throw, which is how much deflection, by changing where that which holes you use. So it's always important you look at the manual to know exactly which ones you should be doing, because moving them farther out or further in, or some combination thereof, will change how the airplane handles. So we want to make sure that we set this up for your best chance of success as a beginning pilot, that you don't have too much rudder control or not enough rudder control. The rest of the servos are already pre-installed with all the control horns, so you don't have to make any changes. And according to the manual, they want us to use the outer holes on both locations. So the outside the control horn on the servo, outside on the control horn on the rudder. So we'll go ahead and put that in. And to do that, we just simply put the control rod in, and we spread open the plastic and close it up. And then there's a little piece of plastic like tubing that we slide over the control rod to make sure that it stays closed. You don't want that coming open. If it comes open, obviously you lost all your control. So a couple more last minute pieces here, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We can go ahead and put the canopy on, I think right now, and we're gonna put the landing gear on, all right? Okay, so this just goes in the back here like this, and just closes down in the front. So now that is all secure. We will not be powering the aircraft up today. We will be getting into that into a later series. But if you do need to go ahead, if you're gonna take this to the field, you would want to make sure you power it up. And to do so, you want to turn on the transmitter first, and then you want to plug in your flight battery, and then you want to go ahead and make sure all your control surfaces are working properly and are aligned before we go fly it. And we'll be covering that in the RC Flight School, as what we call part of the pre-flight ground school. But for today, we're just going to focus on putting the aircraft together. So now we're going to go ahead and put the landing gear in. These just pop in. Well, all right, so here is the Habu STS. It is their new E-Flite Advanced Trainer. This is safe equipped, AS3X equipped. Logan's like, I have no idea what you're talking about on that, but we're going to be getting that in the RC flight school. Basically, you know that there's a flight controller that's on board this aircraft that is going to limit the bank angle, the pitch, and yaw through an onboard computer and gyro. And you'll have the ability in wind that it will actually try to smooth the aircraft out. So for right now, that's all you got to know. We're going to cover way more of that in depth in the RC flight school. But as of now, this is a fully assembled 70mm EDF Habu STS. So Logan, what do you think? You're going to fly this thing, and you're our new student pilot. So this is your first time really looking at it assembled. Yeah. So what do you think?
I think it's really cool. I think it's an awesome looking plane. And I'm really excited to fly it.
Great. Well, we're excited to get you. I bet you didn't think you'd be learning how to fly on a jet.
No, I didn't. I thought I was going to be on a little trainer, but like I'm really excited to fly this.
And it's a good sized plane too.
Yeah.
This is definitely. It's a good sized aircraft. It's brightly colored. You should have no problem seeing it in the sky. You got the bright red, the silver, the white on here. It's got a flexible nose cone, so if we accidentally bonk something with it, it's not going to shear off. Got these great big oversized landing gear, nice thick wires on here. It's spring-loaded nose gear. They've really done an outstanding job on kind of outfitting this aircraft. So with that said, we're going to wrap up the assembly video. If you guys got any questions at all, by all means, leave them in the comments below and subscribe, because we're going to have the RC Flight School coming up here shortly, in which we're going to be teaching Logan here how to fly with this Habu STS. And Logan, you have some social media accounts then as well, if people wanted to follow you and ask questions about your experience. So what is your YouTube handle right now?
The YouTube handle, which for right now it is Logan S.
Okay. All right. And you have an Instagram account as well?
Yep, it is Speed and Power.
Obviously, someone is a fan of old school Top Gear and of Grand Tour, Jeremy Clarkson there. So, all right, so you can follow Logan on any of his social media channels and talk to him. Obviously, he's going to be posting more about this exciting airplane as he moves through flight training and actually gets to solo this aircraft with a Horizon instructor. So, with that, we're going to go wrap this up, and let me know if you guys got any questions.